Careless with Cash, the Empire.
And we're back, episode 17 of World Soccer Daily and Our Soccer Collective Original. I'm your host, as always, Kurtis here with my two buddies, as always, Wendell and Dupe. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
What's going
Good,
on?
man. What's good? What's good?
All right, what's the laugh for now, dude? What's going on today? What have I done? What have I done so far to make this a troll moment?
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I just realized that you had a beanie on in your house, so I had to laugh.
All right, my barber's. All right, I got an explanation for this one too. I got a whole explanation for this one. My barber has been out of town. It's hard to get in contact with. I got a better chance of getting my hair cut by Obama than I got my own barber. But till then, it's gonna stay under here. And it's cold. I got the fan on. But got a great episode for you guys. We're gonna talk AFCON. We're gonna get into the weeds of what's going on with that. Then we're gonna get into the Champions League matches, the second legs. Even though we missed the first leg, we're gonna give you guys a little analyzation of what we saw and where things are going into the round of 8. But first, like I said, AFCON. And for those who have not been aware of the Soccer Wire news daily, the Moroccan Soccer Federation has won their appeal and now are on paper the champions of the African Cup of Nations that happened in January. They are this is taken away from Senegal because they on paper forfeited by walking off the field after the call that Sadio Mane then brought them back, as we spoke to in prior episodes.
Mhm.
But I want to get into this for a couple of reasons, because this is one of those things where we always talk about AFCON and people kind of gloss over and look at it as a joke or don't take it too serious because of what they consider the antics of it. And this doesn't help at all. I want to get you guys' opinions on this. What is your take on how they took the trophy away from Senegal, and what is to be made of it? Like, how do you feel about this, dude?
Well, it's one of two things. One, no one has ever seen this happen before. So we can't really say like, oh, they went about it the right way or the wrong way. They sent an appeal, which was the right thing to do, and they won. Now, does it take away from what the game was? Absolutely not. And I think that's what matters the most right now to the people. Um, I just think that it's very interesting that people are having this uproar when all Morocco did was just send in an appeal saying, yes, this is what happened, and rightfully so, that is what happened. Can we be mad at the result of the appeal? Yes, as fans. But I think after watching the match be played, we all know Senegal won the match. So the appeal, it doesn't really matter. It's one of those things where you got it on paper, but in actuality, we know how that game went. But let that be a lesson now to any other country that wants to walk off the field. Now you know what the results can be.
Very fair. Now, I mean, I want to get into that though. Like, how do you feel about it? Let me get your take on this one. How do you feel about the fact that they did walk off the field, and I guess technically that is a forfeit in the eyes of soccer across the world, but they came back and continued the game and played. It's not like they stayed off the field. Do you think there needs to be a revision in the rules, or do you think that maybe this is just some sort of way to circumvent giving Senegal their trophy? Because just to get into the game a little bit, Morocco isn't a very likable team after the way that game went down. After what we saw on the internet, how staffers from Morocco were treating the game, it's hard to kind of appreciate. It's hard to respect them getting the title this way after seeing that. How do you feel?
I mean, yeah, it is hard for that. Like, I mean, I feel like to a degree, Senegal should have stood on business. Like, if you were gonna walk off the field, man, and you really want to make some sort of like, protest, then I mean, you got to stay off the field. I could be wrong in this, but like, I feel like if you're willing to go that far to where your team is gonna walk off the field mid-match, like, you got to stand on business and you got to stay off the field. Now, should they have maybe talked about it some more as a group? Possibly. But again, heat of the game, heat of the moment, you don't really think about the repercussions of if you were to walk off the field, what's going to happen? I don't think there needs to be a revision in the rules because then I feel like we're kind of normalizing it, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
this is a crazy rare case where the
Yeah.
whole team just like
Right.
walked off the field, bro. Like that's crazy. But like, yeah, you can't change the rules just because this happened. Like they made that decision. Should they have stood on business? I think so. You know, but you can't get much past the court of public opinion. So, like we know that they won the game. So as Morocco, like how do you how can you willingly be like, "Oh yeah, we won that game." You know what I mean? Like you know clearly you lost that game.
And I think that's why they sent in that appeal. They know, I mean, and I look at it like this as well. I don't think Morocco is doing it for. I think they're doing it for the pride factor that they lost in their home nation. Senegal lost. I mean, not Senegal lost, but Senegal walked off the field, which it does kind of make sense to have a rule like that because now when you think about it, there have been plenty of matches where we've seen bad referee calls and teams come close to walking off the field and not do it. So it does make sense and it does give that visibility, like, yeah, you can't just walk off the field and then expect to come back and win. Like that does draw some gray area. What the referee should have done, and this is why AFCON does get taken for a joke in certain standards, is because the referee right then and there should have just called the match. If that's what the country's rule is, it should have been called right there. There should not have been a further continuation of the match. Also, with Morocco doing this, politically, this is the right thing to do. They're not wrong for doing what they're doing. And I think it does kind of give AFCON some grace because they are holding to the bylaws, which does make sense when you look at it from a standpoint. Because imagine now, fast forward, we get to the World Cup. Suppose a team walks off the field in the World Cup,
You know?
and we had the same scenario. And that's the escalation of the matter is a situation like that presenting itself or happening on a larger scale. What do we do then? Because now we're just letting everybody just walk off because the referee made a bad call.
Sure.
And
It's
I think another testament to it is on a more on a more elevated side is if players can't walk off the field or cancel a match because of a monkey chant or any of those things for racial abuse, what do we do then?
it's
Because
a
those
fair
matches aren't forfeited.
it's a fair assessment.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we
And
just kind of went through that in different scenarios, so it is a tricky statement.
yeah, I get you. I got you. And I mean, and just to wrap it, and just to put a bow on this, what do you guys make of Senegal? Because they're on a campaign of standing. I mean, essentially standing 10 toes down on their take, saying we won. This is our trophy. They brought the trophy to a military base in Senegal. I think it was either yesterday or today. I mean, and that's clearly just a show for the media. Like, no, this is us. We won this. We earned it. And I'm with you guys that yeah, they did walk off the field, and technically that is a forfeit by the rules. That is a forfeit, and Morocco did do what they're supposed to do. But the game continued on, and after the game, we did see how Morocco kind of interacted with Senegal after the fact. And I get it. Walking off the field you're not supposed to do that in the game, but at the end of the day, the game did continue on, and Senegal did win the game fair and square, even though there was a lot of intervention by the Moroccan administration, by the Moroccan staff and administration around.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're like, look, if you want it, you gotta come get it. And I kinda like it. Well, I'm not gonna lie
I
to you.
appreciate the bravado for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If you like, I tell people at work all the time, I'm like, hey, look, if you want this, you gotta come get it. And I ain't gonna
Right.
let it go that easily. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it definitely was just for the media, man. Like, but it goes to show, like, I think they wanted to show that, like, they're not gonna be pushed around, right? So
Hmm.
I think that had something to do with it too. You know, they they showed that, they're not gonna be pushed around.
Let's wrap it up. What do you think about that? What are your last final takes on that, Dupe?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like this. Morocco got a whole grace and face. You know, built this new stadium. They done did all the right things. And technically, they did do the right thing. They sent it on the field. I can't be mad at them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Senegal won the match in real time, but Senegal also didn't handle the situation properly
It is fair.
based upon the bylaws.
And I yeah, and I have a feeling that we haven't seen the end of this saga. I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of
Asterisk
rebuttal.
next to it.
Yeah,
Appeal
there's
to
gonna
the appeal.
there's gonna be some sort of
Yeah.
rebuttal by Senegal at some point. So I'm sure we'll be able to cover that once we get to that point. Until then, we'll see. But let's move on to the Champions League round of 16. Second legs. A lot of great games, a lot of interesting games. I want to start with Sporting Bodo Glimt. Interesting one for me. 5-0 victory on the second leg by Sporting in extra time. 5-3 on aggregate. They're sending Bodo Glimt home. What do you guys make of this game, and what do you make of Sporting being able to figure it out? Because we all kind of assumed Bodo Glimt would get through this because they've been competing and playing bigger teams, and I'm not going to say better teams. Sporting's a good team as well, but Sporting was able to come back and correct what they did wrong in the first leg. What do you guys make of that?
Go ahead.
If I could put it, y'all ever caught a football, but then y'all ever caught a football with olive oil in your hands? They let that joint slip right through. They fumbled that ball like crazy. That was a monumental fumble from Bodo Glimt, which, I mean, to be fair, we all were thinking that they were going to go through, right? So
Yeah.
but you know, there's something to be said about teams that have been there before. Which the
Mhm.
Sporting is not a team that gets there regularly, but they still have a piece of that in their DNA, right? So like, it's, I don't know what this. I think it was more about Sporting really showing, you know, the heart and the desire within their locker room more than Bodo Glimt trying to just sit back and defend their 3-goal lead.
Because it was a barn burner the entire time. Dude, what do you think of Bodo Glimt? Do you think that this is more one of those situations where them not playing regular ball kind of came back to haunt them at some point, or do you just think the better team got them?
I think they just finally met a team that is not going to stop attacking them. And I think Sporting has a younger, aggressive team that has the ability to do so. The majority of the teams want to play Bodo Glimt and string these passes along and play this possession game. Sporting was like, nah, we just gonna keep gunning
Yeah.
100 miles per hour, and they did that. They did not stop. And I mean, obviously, Bodo Glimt's luck was always going to run dry. It's like that Cinderella story, you know. You beat some of these big dogs, you know, all of a sudden it takes that one little pup that's just going to run through you, and that one little pup ran through him. I mean, rightfully so. Sporting played a great match, but Bodo Glimt got caught trying to be too defensive, and at some point that's going to catch up with you. It's just not going to work.
So do you guys think that Bodo Glimt probably, I don't want to say they glossed over Sporting as if they had it in the bag. Do you just think that their tactics were maybe ill advised, or do you think they should
Yeah,
have just
They came
it's
in
played by
very, very
tactics.
ill prepared.
I think
interesting?
they were prepared. I do think they were prepared. I think the fact that Sporting is a team that wasn't worried about possession, you were just trying to go at them. I think that is a change of pace for Bodo Glimt to have to face. Everybody else is trying to play this smooth back and forth possession style. Nobody really went like direct
Hmm.
at Bodo Glimt for the full 90. Sporting came in and were like, we're gonna go directly at you for 90. No matter what the result is, we're gonna go. And so it took advantage of that.
Now, before we move on, I know I called them I think the first time we spoke on Bodo Glimt, I called them Holland's background dancers. But do you think that the guys that were on this team who will be playing for the Norwegian national team? I was going to say the Netherlands, the Norwegian national team. Do you think they'll be able to take the momentum they had from this game and bring with them to the World Cup and make some noise?
I hope so. I mean, for the sake of the tournament, right? I feel like it's just like Bodo Glimt is like a small sample size of, you know, what you can see a smaller team or even a smaller nation do, you
Hmm.
know, against bigger competition. So I do think I I hope that these players take this and they kind of harness this energy, harness the the mentality, and take it into the World Cup, because it would be nice to see.
What do you think, Dupe?
I think they already have. I mean, if you look at just Norway qualifying for the World Cup,
That's fair.
so they already had that momentum going in. It's not like these are just mystery guys. Nah, they've been performing to a certain standard. But you take into account, you add an Odegaard, you add a Holland to that mix, that amplifies the powers a bit more. So I
For
think
sure.
for them, it's just they're already riding a great wave of being prepared for the World Cup. So pretty much that's all they've been doing. They ain't been playing
Okay.
no matches for real. So this is pretty much World Cup test matches
Pretty
That
much.
is true. That
for
is
them.
very true. That is
Until they
very
get their
true.
stars there, this is just World Cup test matches, which is a great World Cup test match for them. Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see this summer, but I do think that they do. I do think, just looking at it, that they, even though they lost this game, that the guys on that team that will be on the Norwegian national team, do have something to build on when they get to play
Oh,
with Erling Haaland and Martin.
for sure.
No, I mean it is kind of deflating though, like when you lose in that fashion, right? So that's not for nothing. So you did have a 3-goal lead, and you were confident in your. I guess they were confident in their tactics going in. So like that does kind of put a damper on things, because you're like, man, I thought we had everything prepared. And they just they let that ball
Listen,
slip through.
ask PSG a couple of years ago when they played Boston, when Angel Di Maria was there, and Boston came back and gave
That's
them one.
true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Ask Arsenal that same thing from a few years back. No lead is ever safe in
That is
Champions League.
that is true.
No lead is ever safe.
All right, let's move on to the Band-Aid I gotta peel off myself. Chelsea PSG,
What
0-3
do
on
we
the
have to talk
second
about?
leg. Oh, we got a lot to talk about on this one. I got a lot to talk about on
I
this
got a
one.
lot.
This is the Curtis banking session.
Yeah, you missed the last episode.
Yeah.
30 minutes of just me saying this, that. Oh man, it's gonna get worse today. So 0-3 on the second leg, 2-8 on aggregate. Chelsea is still struggling. There were a couple of takeaways for me. One, Mamadou Sarr at the beginning of the game, letting that, I don't know what his plans were. I think he just got in that situation where he didn't know what he was going to do while the ball was in the air, and just kind of let it get past him, causing, I think, the first or second goal. I want to say it was the first goal for PSG. But I gotta say, I just don't understand what's happening to Chelsea right now, because there's just so many. It seems like it's this person one day, then it's that person the other day. Now you got injuries building back up. Like, Chelsea needs to figure out what's happening before they end up like Tottenham Hotspur, because I really feel like that's the next evolution of this, because they're getting killed in the media for the huddles. They're getting killed in the media for Liam Rosenior, and I want to talk about that in depth, handing Garnacho a note. But it's just like, you guys got to figure out what you're doing. What do you guys make of this?
I'll go first.
Dude,
I know.
you got it.
Listen, you see organized chaos, when it unravels, it becomes even worse. And that's the definition of Chelsea right now. You guys, it looked good when you're winning, but when you're losing, it looks terrible.
Bad.
No, bad is being nice. It looks terrible because you have so much talent, but you also have so much similar talent that don't work well in systems. None of your players actually fit a system or a true style of play consistently.
Couldn't
So
agree
when
with you
things
more.
go left, they go way left. Y'all don't have this middle ground of, okay, we can find back rhythm, or okay, we have a tempo. You guys are either flying 100 miles per hour going forward, or you're figuring out how to defend, scrambling, getting back. And PSG is the perfect team to just sit there and be like, oh yeah, let them try to get forward. We have a great defense. We have an even better midfield. We're going to pick you apart. And they did that effectively so because, again, you're playing in the Champions League. This isn't a racing game like the Premiership is. This isn't a let me hit you, you hit me kind of thing. This is a class. This is a I'm going to pin you apart. And PSG did exactly that 2 legs in a row. And I'll say that for all the Premier League teams, that's what happened. the lack of quality on ball in possession against these teams in other countries. You can't come in and just think, oh yeah, well, we're gonna just run and this person's gonna do that. That ain't gonna work. All that athleticism got washed from Chelsea. Washed. Injuries or not, you have no legit style of play.
Wendell?
I was gonna ask the question. I was like, because you brought it up, all the Premier League teams were just terrible, and I was gonna say, do you think it's a case of just is there's not enough relying on athleticism and too much tactics,
I don't
or
think it's too much
it's not
tactics.
enough tactics and they don't know how to just put it together?
The Premier League has been strictly based around find our wingers and let them try to isolate. Or find one player and let him try to isolate. Champions League it's not based like that. Champions League, you have to have a back, middle, and a front line, or you're not going to get as far as you think you're going to get. And that is, I mean, granted, injuries do play a role. Don't get me wrong. Injuries do play a role. But if your team isn't fully set to play a structured system that's not built on running a million miles per hour, you're not going to function. You're not
And
going to beat the upper class, the top 3 teams in
and
that
I
game.
and I agree with you on your take on the Premier League, where it's just winger ISO ball. And I really do believe Chelsea quadrupled down into that in these last couple of years in their transfer strategies and who they buy. I mean, I still really don't understand the strategy behind it. I don't think anybody does. Maybe they don't even understand it. But it just feels like it's coming back to finally haunt this team. You need to figure out that defense. You need to figure out that midfield. It's just too much going on. But I want to also talk about Liam Rosenior again, and I really want to talk about how it's being portrayed as what he's doing is he's just trying to. It feels like, to kind of take it out of soccer for a second, anytime he talks, they act like it's Jalen Hurts saying some sort of wild, whimsical metaphor on the in these pressers, but it's just like
profound.
yeah, because I'm looking at this Garnacho situation that's been all over the internet and all over the world. Like, why is he handing him a tactic sheet at the 85th minute? I feel like, for me, and this might be the Chelsea fan in me talking, how many times have you seen Pep Guardiola up 7-0 giving instructions, or even Amaran when they're down giving instructions for Man United when they're down handing note sheets? Like, I feel like we're just picking and choosing when we want to characterize a coach's tactics so that we can paint him as the bad guy. I'm still 10 toes down on I don't think Liam Rosenior is the problem here. I don't think he's the greatest coach of all time, but he's the coach they chose. So you have to figure it out, because you can't just keep going with this revolving door of managers to figure out what's going to happen until you magically land on a Xavi Hernandez or whoever they have in the rumor mill. What do you guys make of this, and what do you guys think it is? Let's start with you, Dupe.
Well, here we go again. The Premiership always has this, what I like to call, quote unquote, any non-English coach. There's always this commentary that they have to conform. They have to do something a certain way, like English style. And my take is this: if the coach gives Garnacho a note at the 85th minute, so what? The note could have said, change the formation. The note could have said, we down 0-7. The note could have even said nothing. It could have just been a minute for him to waste more time. They already down. So everyone's having this take, and really and truly, everyone having to take is English. So at the end of the day, it goes back to what people have always said about English commentary. They don't really have a place to say anything, but they all feel like they can judge what a coach can do.
Wow,
Your
we
boy
took the
from
words out of my mouth.
ESPN FC has no voice, has no coaching voice, but has more comments week in, week out about what somebody's doing. For what? Who made him soccer god in England? To say, oh, well, he shouldn't be giving Garnacho a note. You're not playing and you not on the staff. You sitting here watching like the rest of us. If you were that good, you would have the job.
Exactly.
No one has ever called him for a coaching job for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Every English pundit that has something to say, it could have been Sir Alex Ferguson who gave the note. They wouldn't say anything. But because Liam is not traditionally. He's had these comments. So what?
Mm-hmm.
All these people, all English commentary do is whenever it's somebody of color, they have something to say, and that has been proven. None of them can down talk it. It's just proven fact. If it's not a player or a coach of the same skin tone that they speak of, it goes into this hypocritical, oh, well, why is he doing this? Or, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. Like, there's this profile that everybody has to match in English soccer. And I'm
Mhm.
over it. The over
I'm
commentary is ridiculous. And right now, it's just become one of these things where you just want to have something to say to get clicks.
I 100% agree with you because even with the huddle, I'm not a fan of the huddle myself because of the whole thing with the ref. But it's the same time, if this is what the team wants to do, let them do it. If they were winning, it wouldn't be an issue.
In college, here in the U.S., when you give up a goal, what do they do in college? They get in a huddle,
Yeah, they huddle up.
right? When Manchester United and them gave up a goal, when he was there, granted, this was when he was there, they gave up a goal. They got into a little mini huddle, players talk, whatever. It's done. So what? If that's what the team or the players want to do, who can tell the players what to do besides that coach? He must see it or he must recognize it and say, okay, that's their moment to figure something out. Fine. But this over commentary of everything he does, is over critiquing, is getting ridiculous. And it's only because he's at Chelsea. If he did this at West Ham, nobody would have anything to say. When he was winning, nobody had anything to say.
Not a word. Just
So
before we
because
move
they
on,
go on a little trouble streak, it becomes this like, well, let's jump on whatever he has to say. And it's like, yo, I'm done with this.
Wendell, what are your thoughts?
I'm Dupe's ghostwriter, by the way. He
you his Quinn Miller to Drake.
no, I know Drake about to drop, so I had to come out and say that. But yeah, no, I mean I totally agree. Obviously, they act like Chelsea is the only team in England, bro. They act like it's the England national team. Like they have such horrible, bad things to say about this Chelsea squad now that they have a black coach. And it is like when you really sit back and reflect on the things that have and have not been said about certain coaches.
Thomas Tuchel.
Exactly. So you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, like, wow, they really are only saying something about one coach that they've had.
And before I get killed in the comments, Thomas Tuchel is by far a better coach than Liam Senior. I'm not arguing that.
Listen.
But we gotta argue. We gotta be honest. He's a maniac. He does things that are very unprofessional. I mean, we all remember the Tottenham match with him and Conte. Like, you have that, and I mean, it's talked about, but it's not talked about to the level. Like, imagine if Liam Senior did that. Let's be honest.
I'll give you an even better example. When Conte was a coach at Chelsea, people didn't have this much. He did some pretty wild things in his time.
And when he let what was it, Kepa Arrizabalaga tell him he wasn't coming off.
Right. Like,
that was crazy.
There's more than enough instances that coaches have done things and it hasn't gone to this degree.
Yeah.
And whether they were obviously, yes, they're losing. A player just gets hurt. It's the 85th minute. You get ready to put Garnacho on. If he wants to waste time, or he's like, yo, Garnacho, check this out. We down. Clearly. Bruh. Clearly. Just take your time in the match. Whatever he wants to give him, the note literally could say nothing. That is his right to do it if he is the head coach.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He could be changing something for Garnacho that he wants him to do in specific. He could be doing whatever he wants to do. He is the coach. Nobody else should have anything to say. Because if they win the next game, they're gonna jump right back on his bandwagon again.
Yep. I agree with you. Now it's time to peel your Band-Aid off, Dupe. Man City, Real Madrid. 1-2 victory by Real Madrid, 5-1 on aggregate. Madrid is off to the next round. I want to get your take on the game. What did you see in this game? I know you're tired of playing Real Madrid in the Champions League and getting knocked out, but please explain to me what you saw in this game. I want you to talk about that red card for me, and what are your thoughts?
I'll be honest. The first 15, 20 minutes of the game was back and forth. I think the red card was a bit. Am I mad at it? Yes and no. Because it's too early to give a red card. But it's just like, what can we do? You know, what can you do? And I think Madrid did exactly what he was supposed to do. Go for the jugular. I mean, they stole one back, but at the end of the day, and Pep knows this, Pep knew he didn't have the pieces to beat that Madrid squad.
Mm-hmm.
Clear. If you're relying on Doku to cut back 5 times, and they're clearly double teaming him, waiting for the cutback, you have no secondary option. Injuries already took their toll. So the Pep system in that particular match was already going to be a failure. Arbeloa just pretty much got his icing on the cake by beating Pep Guardiola
Mm-hmm.
because he ain't never gonna get that close again. So for him, that's the World Cup. You beat Pep, so you can celebrate that. You beat Man City, you can celebrate that. Now you got to figure out what players you're gonna sell come next season because it's gonna be a moving game now. Now it's just a chess piece. Who gonna move away?
What are your takes on the game, Wendell?
I mean, as a fan of the game, like that red card was like some Churchland soccer league type red card, bro.
Right.
The way he stuck the chicken wing out there, I was like, bro, there's no way.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes it happens. The game is a game. So I mean, I can't fault the ref for giving a red card, right? So, but I do think that Real Madrid handled their business. They knew that they didn't have to necessarily. It changed the game. It changed the game, obviously. I thought that Vinny did a good job of kind of taking over the attack and making sure that they were getting quality looks on goal. Him and Arda Güler, I can't speak enough about Arda Güler, bro. He's so good. And I
He's
think that
gone
he's
at
really
the end of the
cemented his
season.
place in that team. So, but yeah, it's just a classic, 10v11. One team is clearly better than the other as of right now. And Pep couldn't coach his way out of this one.
So I want to talk about Real Madrid before we move on then for a second. Do you guys think they're coming together in a sense at the right time
Nope.
in this point in the season? No?
Nope.
I mean, why not?
Nope. Put it this way. If they face a Bayern, if they face a PSG, it all falls apart.
I'm with you on the PSG. Bayern, I'm not too sure. I have to see
They
them play
have
against
no
somebody.
defense.
I get you, but I feel like
Listen to me. They have no defense. When you don't have a back line and your midfield is a patchwork, you're not going to beat those top tier teams. And that right now is what Manchester City failed to capitalize on. The injuries played their toll on the wide options for them, but the fact that Haaland doesn't get enough touches doesn't create the threat. PSG and Bayern Munich have the striker, and they play through their strikers that are threats. So it's a different ballgame. If Haaland was getting incorporated more, because that's where literally, if you look at any team that really beats Madrid, they have strikers. Their strikers get it all, they can play through their striker. They can drop in deep, they can get it, they can combine. City does not do that. That's not how Pep's playing the game. And Cherky was getting double teamed the whole match. For 90 minutes, Cherky and Doku got double teamed. I ain't never seen a double team look like that.
You don't got to double team Doku, but he double team himself, my boy. He
Literally,
I don't know what
he's cutting back. You know he's
cut back.
banking on the cutback. Everybody in the world knows it now. When I saw Trent and Valverde both there 2 yards apart, I said, "Oh, they got a press. They got a game plan."
I seen plays where Doku could have dribbled past him and he cut back.
Right.
It's a very interesting look at what Man City is and how they are kind of at times it feels like they're floundering, but what do you think they need to do to improve their team looking forward to next year when they're in the Champions League and to finish out this season?
I mean, it helps when you get Mbappe back, right? So I mean, they'll get Mbappe back, they'll get Jude back. So at least you know you're getting your striker and your second solid. I can't even say second solid. Their third solid midfield piece back because Tchouaméni is also solid, along with Valverde in there. So, in terms of next year, I think what's the kid's name? Hussein? Who's on it?
Hussein, yeah.
I was talking Man City, but go ahead with the Real Madrid thing.
Oh
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're
no,
good. I
my bad, my bad.
just wanted to
But yeah,
clarify.
so yeah, they need Trent played okay. He won't terrible, but they need a left back. They need another center back.
Whole back
Real
line.
Madrid defense is very porous, I feel like. But I mean, when you got Mbappe on your team, you know it kind of helps.
Does help sometimes.
On the City side, I'll be honest with you. If I'm City right now, I go after Rodrigo. I go get Arda or Camavinga. I go get those two pieces. I might even go after Ibrahim Diaz.
I mean, it could. I mean,
Or, and sell Holland. I would sell Holland for a 3-player swap.
okay, I like where your head's at there because I feel like a lot of people I feel like a lot of people don't say things like that, and we talked about that in the last episode. Me and Wendell talked about selling players before they reach that point where they start attrition, or that point of attrition, where they start falling back in performance and statistical success. But I'm with you. I do think that involving players like Arda or Rodrigo would actually benefit Man City in the long run. But let's move on to the Band-Aid Wendell has to pull off. You see, I did this. I got it in order. I started with
Yeah,
me,
he was a
then
wicked guy.
got the Dupe, then I got you. Yeah, it's like I'm like I should be in Saw, man. I could torture people crazy.
It could be a Scary Movie 7, boy.
See?
Barcelona got a 7-2 victory over Newcastle, winning 8-3 on aggregate. Very mundane. Well, I wouldn't say very mundane. It was a tame first half, but then the second half it was where it just kind of got out of control for Newcastle. Wendell, obviously we're going to start with you. What is your takes on this game? Talk about how you felt during the first portion of the game and how it kind of dwindled towards the end, and what do you think happened to Newcastle?
The first half was great, right? The first half was had everybody thinking that, you know, Barca's time could be up. You know, it looked scary. It was scary hours. It was scary hours for them.
For Newcastle fans, sure.
And then and then halftime hit. I mean, be honest. They weren't doing nothing that we weren't doing. All right?
I mean, I feel like you're looking at it because it was back and forth. Like,
it was very back and forth.
It was very back and forth at the beginning. But hey,
its second half hit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of halftime speech they got. I don't know if they ain't get no orange slices of Capri Suns. I don't know if they ain't get to use the bathroom. I don't know if they ain't get to change their cleats. But I did not recognize the team that came out of that second half. There was no heart, no spine, and no belief in anything that they were doing. Barca saw that, and they smelled blood in the water, and they jumped. And honestly, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we got beat like that, because now maybe somebody will grow a spine, and they'll start playing like they deserve to be in the Champions League.
Well, you're lucky you got there.
I mean, hey, you know,
for me, it's like, what a terrible time for Anthony Elanga to be a productive goal scorer.
Bro,
like
dog,
the entire time, this entire season, I've been saying Isak's gone, but Elanga's gonna take over. It's gonna be all smooth sailings. He has not had He's not a consistent performance yet, but for him to get those 2 goals and then for this to happen in return, it's just like, man, I felt bad for him.
It wasn't worth the sacrifice. It wasn't worth the sacrifice at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time disconnecting from the game sometimes, but truly, we didn't stand a chance, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we were lucky to be in the position we were in, and sometimes you just got to take it on the chin. Pause.
Oh, y'all took it on the chin, all right. Y'all took it on the chin.
Yeah.
You know,
Like Jake
that
Paul
Real
did when
Madrid,
Anthony Joshua punched him.
right? You know, that J match went the same way. City was there at one point. They were
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
And then it got real out of hand.
It got real out of hand.
Right. And so I think it just goes back to, like I was saying, man, the English teams just aren't fit enough in comparison to compete in a true possession style game. You know what it reminded me of? Remember the Champions League final between Manchester United and Barcelona?
Mm-hmm.
Where Manchester United didn't touch the ball at all?
Yeah, that was a catastrophic game. I had a lot of Manchester United friends in high school, but at that time, that was yeah.
That's the same thing that we're seeing back again. The English teams are so used to set piece goals or this isolation, and they're not capable of playing the isolation game the right way. It looks good for the Premier League because it's just all moving, 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 moving. And the better teams can lull the bad quality teams to sleep, and the individuals can take over. But when you compare it to playing against a high grade quality team like a Madrid or a Barca, it's like you are not 90 minutes fit for that. And that's where, Barca just took off against Newcastle. And that's the same thing, you know what I mean, in the Madrid City match. It's the exact same thing. At some point, that cream does rise to the top. And that
It's-
fluidity that these teams have and that possession of getting forward with pace, with skill, you just not good enough.
And moving on to the final match the final match we're going to go over, Liverpool Galatasaray. Now, Liverpool wins 4-1 on aggregate. I'm surprised this actually happened because I, for one, thought that Galatasaray might be able to finish it out. But what do you make of Liverpool's ability to rally and come back and win this game and build?
I think, we put a lot out there on Liverpool. And I think next round, I think they're going to be eliminated, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They beat a Galatasaray squad that was good, but not good enough. I didn't think they had enough pieces to make, Liverpool kind of shake more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the next round, Liverpool is going to face a team that's going to make them have to do a lot more. So I think they
Yeah.
they met a fair match, and Galatasaray just wasn't up to par. I think Liverpool finally, once it were clicking, and that's one thing about Liverpool that has always been true this season. Once their front line is clicking, it's very tough to beat them. And their front line was clicking, and like I said, their quality just happened to rise to the top of Galatasaray.
Do you think that this kind of gives Arne Slot a little more confidence moving forward? Do you think
Yeah.
or do you think it gives him even, I'm gonna say, an extended timeline? Because for me, I do believe that the writing is on the wall for him, and he might be looking for another job sooner than later. What do you think?
In my honest opinion, if they fire Slot, they don't have anybody that can come in there to do the job. Like we keep on saying, oh, we can fire this coach, or oh, we can fire that coach. But it's been proven that the quality of coaching is not there. And to walk into a dressing room that is going to be kind of divided depending on who is left behind. So to me, you don't have that kind of quality coaching to just come in and say, oh yeah, well, we're going to replace Slot now with who? Who are you going to come in and you're going to bring Xabi Alonso in there? And he's a tactician.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring somebody in that has a completely different system from your last two coaches. Completely different ballgame that's going to walk into having two 6 foot plus strikers now. It's going to be tough to deal with.
Now, I know we talked about it in previous episodes about Victor Osimhen and where he would fit well. Do you still think that Liverpool's on the table for him?
I don't see him at Liverpool. Liverpool right now between Gakpo, Isaac coming back from injury, and Etikite, their front line is tall.
Yeah. It's an NBA team.
Right. I mean, Osimhen doesn't fit that right now, especially if they don't even know who their coach is going to be going into next season. So to me, he shouldn't walk into that situation. That just becomes a third wheel on another project team. Like he needs a solidified team where he can be the striker. I think Chelsea could be that for him. I think Man United could be that for him. I even think Liverpool, not Liverpool, sorry, Newcastle could be that for him. I could see him even at Tottenham if they were to get their acts together. That could be a place for him. It's
Relegation
just,
pending.
yeah. I mean, like it's just,
Yeah.
it depends on what it is because he decides what to move into chaos wise in the Premiership. I think if he went to Newcastle, he could go in there and be the star. He would bring that fan base. He would make that a real thing. If he went to Tottenham with some of the younger pieces that they have, granted they have no injuries, that could be another project. He goes to Man United, that could be something real. He goes to Chelsea, game changer.
Yeah.
But they would have to then also move some pieces in order to bring
Yeah.
somebody like him in.
They'd have to move a lot for him, but
Not
that's
really. I don't think they have to move a lot. You
I
can
think
only
there's a
just,
lot of I think there's a lot of players that would step on his play style there.
I don't think so. I think he can adapt to any play style. I look at it like this. If you give him a real structure with the right lineup of players around him, that team can win the league because he's a true striker. The problem for them would be then where do you play Pedro? And that becomes the new Pedro Cole Palmer kind of saga then starts there. Because then it's who's playing the 10. And your winger options are there, or do you move Cole Palmer to the wing and let Pedro run the middle and put Esteban on the other wing? That then becomes the tricky part. Because what's your system at?
Gotcha. All right, now before we wrap this episode up, we have PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Sporting, Arsenal. What do you think? How do you think these games shake up? What do you think is going to be the interesting game? I want to say, and then what do you think is going to be like your upset?
Barcelona match is already the one is it?
You think Atletico does it?
Yeah, I think Atletico could pull it off. They did it one time already.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Madrid Bayern match to me that's the heartbreaker.
You think Bayern's going to rout them?
I think Bayern will beat them just because of injury. And again, back line. I think that might be the match that attracts the most attention. Because to me that's like a semifinal match. If both teams are healthy, that's a great match. But that's not the case.
Personally, I'm gonna tell you, I like Sporting to actually beat Arsenal. I'm a just go for it with this one. I do think that they're going to be running high off the confidence of coming back against Bodo Glimt. Granted, Bodo Glimt is not Arsenal, but we also know Arsenal is Arsenal. So I do like that one for me to be the one that I'm kind of looking at, that we see Arsenal kind of fall out of this. And for me, they're winning the Premiership. They can't win anything else. I mean, they can't have too much good fortune. Like,
I
let's be
mean,
real about that.
look, I'll say this. This could be their year to do something special. Chances are very slim.
Oh,
But,
are you thinking what? Are you going to say what I think you're saying?
well, that they could win the Champions League?
And the Prem? You think they're going to get
Nah, they're
two?
not winning Champions League. I don't even
Okay,
think they're going to win the
okay,
Prem.
okay,
I
okay.
don't.
Okay. Well, Prem is kind of already solidified.
Yeah,
Like
like
we,
I give it to him, but I don't give it to him.
yeah. I feel like that's just a little Man City jealousy right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's for sure. But I think they have the pieces to go on to the next round. But yeah, that's it for them after this.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. But that has been another episode 17 of World Soccer Daily and our Soccer Collective Original. Before we got out of here, where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at Footballer Dupe, player position as well. And yeah, just check me out. You know I'm here.
Yep. And you can always follow me as well at Kurtis on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Don't forget to follow World Soccer Daily on all. Don't forget to follow World Soccer Daily on our Soccer Collective on all social media platforms. And until next episode, we will see you guys later. Hopefully, Wendell will be back properly.
He said he was